Did you know that the Mexican peso currency actually has augmented reality embedded in the bills? If we haven't met, I'm Diego, and today what I want to do in this video is show you all of the animations that are actually embedded in the technology of these bills. So a little bit of backstory. The Mexican government started issuing new peso notes back in 2018 to 2021. The notes we're looking at are 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, and 1,000, and I understand there's still a contingency for making a $2,000 bill, but it hasn't come out yet. Back in 2021, I was hanging out at a little microbrewery place at Paseo 60, which is a little bit like a food court, and I was paying with one of these new bills. The bartender was really excited because he hadn't seen a lot of them yet, and he told me very excitedly that there was technology inside of these new bills. He whipped out his phone, pulled out an app, placed it over the bill, and showed me the magic that it contains. Now, in addition to it just being a really cool feature, which I'm going to show you in a moment, he actually told me that it's a little bit of a way to find fake bills. So if this technology doesn't exist in a bill that someone's trying to pass, they know it's counterfeit. So the way that these bills are formatted is on the front of the bill, there's always a scene of history pertaining to Mexico, and then on the back, there's going to be a scene of environmental or wildlife or just some magical places that exist in nature throughout Mexico. So in order to see the AR, the augmented reality, you just need to open your phone, download the app that's called Billetes MX, and open that, and then it will prompt you as to which bill you want to scan, and then you just place it directly over the bill. So let's take a look at the 20 peso note first. And you'll see on the face of this, what we're going to see is a scene from 1821 where the Army of the Three Guarantees marched into Mexico and declared their independence from Spain. So the three guarantees were independence from Spain, religion, that we're going to maintain the Catholic religion for Mexico, and union, meaning all people regardless of ethnicities were welcome in Mexico. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, now on the back of the 20 peso note, what we're seeing is a scene from Siancan, which is a reserve in Quintana Roo. And it really kind of is famous for the mangroves. So what you'll see on this scene is a crocodile and an egret flying. Let's check it out. Next up is the 50 peso note. So what the face of this note represents is the founding of the ancient city of Tenochtitlan. And I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that. At Tenochtitlan, the people set up an ancient city there because there was a prophecy that showed an eagle holding a serpent in its mouth sitting on a cactus, and that was the symbol that represented that they were meant to found this ancient city. And let's take a look at what that scene looks like. The back of the 50 is probably my favorite scene in all of the Mexican currency. And it features an axolotl. And if you don't know what an axolotl is, I believe it's only native to Mexico. And frankly, it's one of the strangest animals on the planet, in my opinion. Legend has it the Aztec god Exotl, and I'm sure I'm butchering that as well, actually transformed a salamander into an amphibian that was water-dwelling in order to prevent the salamander from being sacrificed. So, let's have a look. So now we get to the front of the 100 peso note, and on the face of the note is a depiction of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. And she's regarded as a historical figure, and she was, among other things, a nun, a philosopher, a writer, and a composer. And pretty much she's regarded as one of the major figures in the feminist movement in Mexico. Let's have a look. Okay, the back of the 100 peso note. This one is really, really cool. You're going to see a bunch of butterflies, and I think this is representing a monarch butterfly biosphere that's in the state of Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. So check this one out. You're going to like this one. Okay, this brings us to the 200 peso note, and you'll notice it's hard to find a really crisp 200 peso note in Mexico because this is one of the most widely circulated notes in the country. So what you'll see on the face of the note here is depicted two faces representing Miguel Hidalgo and Jose Maria Morelos. And these two are well known as freedom fighters fighting for the independence of Mexico. Unfortunately, Hidalgo was executed, and then that's when Jose Maria Morelos took over to continue that fight for independence. Unfortunately, he was also captured and executed. But these are two really well-renowned figures in Mexico for the fight for independence. And let's take a look at these two heroes. Okay, the back of the 200 peso note, you're going to see a scene from the Sonoran Desert with a great eagle flying above the desert landscape with sororo cacti in the background. This one's pretty cool. Benito Juarez is pictured on the face of the 500 peso note. So you'll notice there's a lot of old 500 peso notes still floating around. They're very well worn. They're brownish in color, so this is quite a departure going with the blue. So Benito Juarez is known as the first indigenous president for Mexico and was an advocate for a lot of reform for the country. They still celebrate a national holiday, I believe it's the third Monday of every March, to commemorate his birthday. So let's take a look at Senor Juarez. The back of the blue 500 peso note, you'll see a scene. This is a really cool one too. This is a gray whale and her calf swimming in the El Vizcaíno Reserve in southern Baja California. You're going to enjoy this one too. Really, really cool. Okay, the 1,000 peso note. You don't see a ton of these in circulation. 1,000 pesos is equivalent to approximately $50 to $52 by today's exchange rates. So what you're going to see on the 1,000 peso note are these three important figures for the revolution of Mexico. And you'll see that these are Francisco Madero, Hermila Galindo, in Carmen Serlan. So let's take a look at this scene. Okay, finally, the back of the 1,000 peso note, you're going to see a scene from the ancient Mayan city of Calakmul in the state of Campeche, which is a neighbor state of ours. And you're going to see a scene of this jaguar prowling through the jungle in Calakmul. Enjoy. Okay, so that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't take this to be a history lesson. My history is not great in Mexico, but I am learning and using the currency to kind of help stoke a little bit of interest and curiosity about the country that I'm living in. So I don't know of any other country's currency that has the technology like this. So I think it's pretty unique and pretty cool. So if I'm wrong, if there's anybody out there in any other country that has kind of these magical properties of their money, please share with me down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon.